Magandang araw po sa lahat. Welcome to the introductory presentation on data-driven development. This introduction will discuss some fundamentals of data, why they are important, what they are used for, and the things we must remember when we handle and use data. These are basic concepts that hopefully will enrich our appreciation and understanding of data and how they relate to things that matter to us. This discussion has 4 parts. First, we discuss the data revolution, or how data have become ever-present in our everyday lives, how they shape development discourse, and how they affect the decisions and actions made by everyone around us. We will also discuss how data and information are different but related. Second, we will discuss how, no matter their ubiquity and centrality, data are not the sole determinants of outcomes. We will explore the journey from data to information, to action, and then results. Third, we will have a brief comment on the challenges we face when we handle data and information. And finally, we close with what we can do about it. Data present huge opportunities, but they also come with great challenges that we need to address. This is where we discuss the need to develop data appreciation and data maturity. The data revolution. Noong 2014, inatasan ni Ban Ki-moon, ang Secretary General ng United Nations, ang isang independent expert advisory group na maghain ng mga rekomendasyon para magkaroon ng data revolution upang makamit ang mga tinatawag na Sustainable Development Goals. Sa kanilang report na may titulong A World That Counts, sinabi ng Independent Expert Advisory Group na data are the lifeblood of decision-making and the raw material for accountability. Without high-quality data providing the right information on the right things at the right time, designing, monitoring, and evaluating effective policies becomes almost impossible. Data revolution has since been understood to cover the transformative actions needed to respond to a complex development agenda and the many ways that data can help reach this development agenda. Pero hindi noon lamang naging mahalaga ang usapin ng data at impormasyon sa ating buhay. Ancient philosophers extolled information and knowledge as necessities for survival. Literary figures, through their fictional characters, insisted on the use of data to maintain clear thinking. Modern-day policymakers proclaim data as critical inputs to the new and future economy. And development organizations believe that having better data leads to better lives. Leaders and thinkers, past and present, have all proclaimed and highlighted the importance of data and information in our everyday life. The data revolution came so fast that what used to be simple repositories and sources of information were quickly augmented and eventually overcome by more modern and quicker ways of gathering and conveying information. Data are everywhere that everyday things that we take for granted have the ability to get and collect from and deliver data and information to us. Now, let's step back a bit and discuss how data and information are different and how they are related. Data are individual facts, statistics, or items of information, often numeric or descriptive, that are collected through observation. Until they are organized and processed, they may seem random or without any significance. May tinatawag tayong raw data na koleksyon ng mga numbers or characters na siyang kinokolekta, inaayos at inorganize ng mga analysts and researchers. Information is the process, organized, and structured data. Data are transformed into information when they are viewed in context or are presented in an analysis. Madalas gamitin sa parehang konteksto ang data at information, pero meron silang kanya-kanyang kahulugan. Maaari nating sabihin na ang information ay mas malawak at ang data ay units of information. The difference and the levels become more pronounced when we go to digital and information technology. But on a daily basis, they are closely related. Halimbawa, ang iyong ID card ay naglalaman ng maraming personal data. Pangalan, address, date of birth, age, gender, phone number, at ang iyong opisina or paaralan. Pero pag pinagsama-sama mo lahat yan, maraming impormasyon tungkol sa iyo ang makukuha. Sa batas, when we say right to information or freedom of information, ang ibig sabihin nito ay ang ating karapatang mag-access ng public records and documents, maging raw data man yan or processed information. Let's take an example. Suppose the rural health unit has a pediatric clinic and this is their triage record on a certain day. The entries Yolanda, M or male, 2011, and 38 degrees centigrade are pieces of data. On their own, they are simply numbers, characters, or names. But when these entries are pieced together, they can give valuable information, identifying or describing something. For instance, the entries Yolanda, F, and 2013 will identify Yolanda as an 8-year-old girl. Glenda, 2014, and 38 will alert the doctors that Glenda, who is 7 years old, has fever. And the entries for the day show that the clinic has 5 patients, 3 boys and 2 girls, and 2 of them have fever. Data and information can come in different forms. It can be a bulletin, like the Department of Health's COVID-19 bulletin, a table, like the Department of Education's enrollment table, an infographic, like this snapshot of basic socio-economic data, a chart, like this economic growth graph from the Philippine Statistics Authority, or a map, like this map of active and potentially active volcanoes of Camiguin Island. Data and information are everywhere and can be seen in simpler items. You find them in receipts, ID cards, electric bills, school report cards, photographs, and many others. We already know that data is everywhere and everything can be a source of data. But what is data-driven development? For data to be useful, they have to make sense to those who look at them. Who and what are represented by the data will have to eventually be reflected in policy and action. That is what it means to be data-driven. To be data-driven means being guided by data to see and determine where we are. And use data to get where we want to go or be what we want to be. This entails a journey of transforming data into action. Let's go back to our pediatric clinic example. We have 2 children who have fever. Our goal is to see these children healthy again. We will have a competent person, a healthcare provider, a nurse, or a doctor to check further and collect information. Ano ang mga symptoms at gaano na katagal nilang nararamdaman ito? Meron bang mga underlying conditions ang mga bata? The healthcare worker will collect this data using appropriate methods: physical examination, laboratory tests, taking of family health history, and the like. There are data collection methods appropriate for every situation. In Module 2, Data Literacy, you will learn about data quality, collection, and storage. The next step will be to analyze the data collected to determine what might be causing the children's fever. Healthcare professionals have spent years to study and master the human body to prepare them for the task of making a diagnosis. Ang isang data-driven diagnosis ay base sa napakaraming taon na trabaho at experience at analysis. Hindi ito base sa sabi-sabi, hula o pamahiin. In Module 4, Data Preparation and Analysis, you will be guided on how to prepare data for analysis and learn the basics of qualitative and quantitative analysis. After the diagnosis, a prescription is given or the courses of action that the children's families shall take to bring their kids back to health. Just like the diagnosis, ang isang prescription ay base sa mga dati nang nakolekta, napag-aralan at naanalisang mga datos. It is informed by what worked before and what may be emerging innovations in the medical field. You will be introduced to how data-driven approaches are applied in different sectors in Module 6. The proper intervention means following the doctor's orders, monitoring the children's progress and reporting it, and adjusting the treatment based on doctor's orders by either increasing or decreasing the dosage of medication, changing medicines, or doing other procedures as may be required. Data-driven means that courses of action may be adjusted depending on how the original treatment or prescription is working or not working. It means the regular monitoring and evaluation of the policy, intervention, and the results so that needed changes can be made. You will be acquainted with policy evaluation in Module 8. Data are guides. They help point us to the right direction, allow us to calculate the requirements and the risks, help us make a plan of action, enable us to estimate the time and the effort we need to expend so that we can reach our destination. Alam na natin ang kahalagahan ng data at information at kung papaano ba masasabing ang isang aksyon ay data-driven. We now turn to the challenges we face when we handle data and information. Data and information are ubiquitous. They are everywhere. Everybody uses data, but not everybody uses them well. This points to potential vulnerabilities. Let's tackle some of these. Data and information can be collected and generated, but can they be trusted? Everyone will present their own data, and if you're not careful, you might fall victim to fake news or misinformation. To avoid this, one must exercise a healthy dose of skepticism and always try to go beyond the surface. Verify the information, cross-check with authoritative sources, and exercise common sense and discernment. Technological advances not only make the world more connected than ever before, these connections are also fast, almost instantaneous. Sharing data in whatever format, but especially in digital format, should be fairly quick and easy. However, there are two issues of concern here. One, once released, there is little way to control how data is used. That is how fake news and misinformation spread. Legitimate data can be manipulated and edited so that they appear to exhibit characteristics not faithful to the original source. And two, some data holders might withhold data and information of public concern, which is not good for accountability and stakes claiming. Data can have a strong influence on policy, but they do not guarantee results. Data are not magic bullets that when used will automatically solve all our problems. It is also important to analyze and interpret the data properly. Picking and choosing only the data that will make you look good will not do much to improve a dire situation. Data in themselves may be objective, but if they are used in a biased or skewed way, the results will not be good. Data are also not static. Policies and programs will need to adjust when situations change. The advantage of having access to real-time data is that adjustments can be done quickly. Systems on the ground and how we do things will have to be nimble to be able to do this. Data is power, but is this power shared? Because we are all both users and sources of data, are we all equally powerful? The answer, unfortunately, is no. The latest World Development Report, Data for Better Lives, described data as a double-edged sword. It said that data create value that drives economies and empowers citizens. But the accumulation of data can also lead to the concentration of economic and political power that can harm citizens. The use and reuse of data can also lead to abuse. To harness the potential of data, technology is applied. Those with more capacity to collect and process big data are more likely to benefit from them economically and politically. Smaller economic and political units need to build capacities and make bigger investments in data infrastructure to be able to keep up. Malaki ang naitutulong ng data, pero malaki din ang posibilidad na ito ay maabuso. How can we address the challenge of managing data? How can we develop data appreciation and data maturity? In the book Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow, the author, Yuval Noah Harari, alerted us to the rise of a new religion he called dataism. He raised a cautionary tale about the worship of data. He also emphasized that sapiens rule the world because we alone can cooperate flexibly in large numbers. Tanging tayong mga tao lamang ang nakakapagsama-sama at nakikipagtulungan ng maramihan. Let's keep this in mind as we tackle the elements of data appreciation and maturity. The first element is data integrity, or how to preserve data accuracy and consistency and how to protect their quality. There are two aspects to this: physical integrity and substantive integrity. Physical integrity has to do with how data are collected, stored, and maintained, so they are shielded from destruction, theft, or corruption. Sometimes it is necessary to keep physical copies of documents containing data, but more and more technological solutions are applied, protecting data by going digital, both in terms of collection and storage. Substantive integrity has to do with the format, organization, and structure of the data. Substantive integrity is also affected by the manner of collection, by whom, how, and from whom. Ensuring that this process abides by set standards is important so that data generated will be trusted and will not be questioned. Transparency is the next element. When data are collected from people, they have to know that such data are being collected from and about them. And they should be able to have a say whether or not they want to be part of the database being built, which, by the way, is also part of privacy protection. The other important aspect is the granting of access to the data that are collected and generated. This is especially true for public entities. Not only is access to data and information a right that government should uphold, it also empowers citizens to take government to account and gives them the tools to make decisions and participate in public life. Transparency also gives protection against the spurious use of data and the manipulation of information, as it enables citizens to do independent verification and cross-checking. The third element of data appreciation and maturity is the use of data as guide. Having data alone is not a substitute for thoughtful analysis, consultation, monitoring, and evaluation of policies and programs crafted based on data. But the use of accurate and high-quality data will boost the efficacy of proposed solutions. Finally, data are public resources, the use of which should always be done with full responsibility and awareness. Regardless of whether one is acting in a private or public capacity, Withholding or using data will always have an impact on somebody else. Processing and sharing of data and information should always be mindful about not putting individuals and communities at risk. These risks may come in the form of stolen private information, using data to target individuals for unscrupulous ends, denying data from those in legitimate need of them, and others. Data responsibility also means the protection of data integrity, being transparent about data practices, and making sure that advances in data technology are shared by everyone. Lahat ng ito, data integrity, transparency, using data as guide, data responsibility, ang magpapataas ng antas ng ating data appreciation and maturity or ang malusog nating relasyon with data and information. Para makamit ang data appreciation and maturity at para maging ganap na data-driven tayo, napaka-importante na buong komunidad ang naiaangat. Because it is the community's relationship with data that sets the bounds for appreciation and maturity in terms of data. The manner by which we do civic engagement, conduct public discourse, and craft policy is affected by data. If we have a deeper appreciation for data and we are more data mature, then we conduct both our private and public lives better. Just as everything is interconnected, we should highlight cooperation as a necessary element in the transformation from data to human development. Data are not the end-all or the be-all of our existence, but they are essential elements that we cannot do without. We have to be able to master them so we can have the most use for them. Thank you very much for listening to this introductory presentation on data-driven development. We hope that you will continue with the rest of the presentations in this module and that you will complete all the modules in this program. Magandang araw po!